You think the worst pain is being betrayed. It's not. The real agony is kissing lips that just touched another man, holding a body that no longer belongs to you, and not even knowing it. Many men convince themselves that her distance is just stress, or age, or routine. But the truth is harsher. Women rarely confess, but they always reveal. And if you miss the signals, you don't just get hurt, you become the quiet accomplice to your own humiliation. That's why today I'm going to expose the 8 undeniable signs that a woman has just slept with someone else. Signs most men ignore, until it's far too late. And trust me, the last sign, it's the nail in the coffin. The one thing she cannot hide no matter how skilled her lies are. But before we dive in, take a second to subscribe and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see just how far this message travels. Because betrayal speaks the same language in every country, every culture, and every relationship. Now, let's get back to the truth. Sign #1, the cold silence of her body. There's a kind of silence that doesn't come from words. It comes from touch. And if you've been with a woman long enough, you know the difference. You know when her kiss is warm, when her hug pulls you in, when her body naturally leans toward yours without you asking. But you also know when that current goes dead. This sign doesn't scream at you. It whispers. You lean in to kiss her, and she subtly turns her face away. You place your hand on her shoulder in bed, and instead of melting, she stiffens. She says she's tired, but her body isn't heavy with exhaustion. It's heavy with indifference. Here's the brutal truth. Tiredness heals with rest. Indifference does not. When a woman has been fulfilled by someone else, she doesn't come back to you hungry. She comes back satisfied. And satisfaction leaves no space for you. Imagine trying to light a fire that's already burned itself out. No matter how many matches you strike, the wood stays cold. That's what it feels like when her desire has been given elsewhere. The mistake most men make? Denial. You tell yourself, it's just stress. It's just her age. This happens in every long-term relationship. No, attraction doesn't die of old age. It dies when it moves to another source. So what do you do when you sense this shift? You don't beg. You don't plead. You observe. Instead of chasing her touch, pull back. See if the distance shrinks on its own, or widens even more. Because a woman who still loves and desires you will eventually reach out again. But a woman who's given herself to someone else? She'll let the silence deepen, because her hunger is being fed elsewhere. Sign #2, the cleansing ritual. When a woman has been intimate with another man, she doesn't walk into your home carrying the scent of betrayal. She walks in smelling too clean. Her perfume is stronger than usual. Her shower takes longer than it ever has before. She changes clothes when there's no reason to. Her underwear doesn't match the rest of her outfit, as though she swapped it last minute. On the surface, it looks like self-care, but in reality, it's a cover-up. This is what I call the erasing ritual. She's not just cleaning her body, she's trying to scrub her guilt away. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman knows her body tells stories. Skin holds onto scents, hair carries traces, clothes remember contact. So she scrubs, she sprays perfume, she hides the evidence under layers of soap, lotion, and false smiles. And ironically, the more she tries to erase the evidence, the more obvious it becomes. Does this mean every shower equals betrayal? Of course not. The key is change. If she never rushed to the bathroom right after coming home before, but now she always does, pay attention. If she suddenly becomes territorial over her laundry, refusing to let you near it, that's a red flag. Psychology is about patterns, not one-time actions. It's not about paranoia. It's about noticing what no longer fits the rhythm of how she used to behave. Sign #3, the blame game. Unjustified irritation. When guilt becomes too heavy for her to carry, she doesn't confess it. She transfers it. Suddenly, you're the problem. You load the dishwasher wrong. You breathe too loudly. You didn't text her fast enough. Whatever you do, it's never right. This irritation isn't random. It's strategic. Here's the psychology. If she paints you as the villain, she doesn't have to feel like the betrayer. In her mind, she didn't step outside the relationship because she wanted to. She did it because you were inattentive, boring, controlling. Whatever narrative she needs to silence her own conscience. This is called projection, a classic defense mechanism. Instead of facing the monster inside her, she pushes it onto you. The trap most men fall into? They defend themselves. You argue. You try to explain. You think, if I just show her the logic, she'll see the truth. but you can't out-logic guilt. The more you defend yourself, the more ammunition she gets to twist the narrative against you. Before you know it, you're walking on eggshells in your own home. Here's the shift. Stop playing defense. When she lashes out, don't beg, don't debate. Look her in the eye and calmly say, "You don't need to fight to justify what you've already decided." Then walk away. That single sentence flips the entire dynamic, because you've just shown her that you see through the tactic, and you won't dance to her tune. Sign #4. The body doesn't lie. A woman can rehearse her words. She can polish her story until it sounds flawless. She can even control her tone and facial expressions, for a while. But there's one thing she cannot fake: her body. Your relationship has a physical rhythm. You know her warmth, her natural reactions, her patterns of touch. That's why when something shifts, you feel it, even if you try to deny it. Maybe she's unusually tense, flinching slightly when you touch her, or maybe she's oddly relaxed, like someone whose needs have already been met elsewhere. Perhaps her responsiveness in bed suddenly changes, either exaggerated or strangely absent. These aren't random fluctuations, they're signals. The cruel part? You don't need to be a psychologist to notice them, you just need the courage to accept what you already feel. But most men don't. They explain it away. She's just stressed. Maybe it's her hormones. Maybe I'm imagining things. And yes, stress and hormones exist. But when the change is sudden and drastic, you owe it to yourself to face the truth. Here's why this matters. When you ignore your instincts, you don't save the relationship. You only delay the inevitable collapse, because a body that has been with another man carries an imprint, not always visible but always felt. So what's the move? First, stop overcompensating. Most men, when they sense distance, try harder. More affection, more effort, more attention. But you can't compete with a desire that has already been given away. You don't win her back by throwing yourself at her feet. Instead, step back and observe. Stop chasing intimacy and start watching its pattern. Because when you stop pouring energy into her, you'll see exactly where her loyalty stands. Strength isn't pretending you don't see the change. Strength is having the spine to face it head on, even when it burns. Sign #5, excessive affection, the theater of guilt. Not every betrayal looks cold, sometimes it comes wrapped in warmth. This is one of the cruelest tricks of all. She's been distant, cold, unreachable, and suddenly, she's kissing you passionately, cooking your favorite meal, whispering, "I love you," with teary eyes. Your heart leaps with hope. You think, she's coming back to me. But she isn't. She's trying to come back to herself. This sudden wave of affection isn't love, it's guilt management. After crossing the line, many women don't withdraw. They overcompensate. They try to bury their guilt under a performance of love, clinging to you, spoiling you, showering you with affection that feels almost too good to be true. Here's the psychology. If she acts like the perfect girlfriend or wife, she can convince herself that she's still a good person. Her affection isn't a gift to you, it's a bandage for her own conscience. The mistake most men make is embracing this false affection like a second chance. You drop your guard. You stop paying attention to the other signs. You start believing the lie because you want to believe it. But here's how you tell the difference. Ask yourself, is her affection consistent? Or does it only show up after unexplained absences or late nights out? Does she touch you with genuine desire? Or does it feel mechanical, exaggerated, rehearsed? If the warmth feels like theater, it's not connection. It's damage control. Your move? Don't reward guilty affection. Don't let her wipe her conscience on your shoulders. Tell yourself, I'd rather face her cold truth than her fake warmth. Because love doesn't need performance, and guilty hugs are just another form of betrayal. Sign #6, emotional absence in intimacy. There's a difference between a body beside you and a soul with you. And once you've felt that difference, you can never unfeel it. Picture this. You're in bed. Her body is there. She touches you. She moves. She even moans. On the surface, everything looks normal, but something vital is missing. Her eyes are empty. Her energy doesn't sync with yours. It feels like she's somewhere else, replaying memories that don't include you. That's not intimacy. That's performance. And here's the brutal truth. A woman who is emotionally absent during intimacy is already gone. You're not making love. You're participating in her cover-up. Most men tell themselves comforting lies. She's just tired. She's stressed from work. But deep down, you know, Stress still allows for connection. Tiredness still allows for presence. This absence is different. It's a void. The more you push, the further she drifts. Because her passion isn't missing. It's burning somewhere else. And every ounce of extra effort you give only teaches her one thing. She doesn't need to give anything back. So what's the solution? Stop chasing ghosts. Recognize when her soul isn't with you. And most importantly, don't confuse physical participation with emotional presence. You deserve a partner who's fully there, not someone whose body is a shell while her mind is miles away. Sign #7. The late returns, empty excuses. When love is strong, even the busiest woman finds her way back to you. Time bends to make room for connection. But when her desire fades, suddenly the clock turns against you. She's late again and again. Her excuses are flimsy. Work ran long. Her phone died. A friend needed her. At first you believe it, because you want to believe it. But when lateness becomes routine, it's no longer about life being busy. It's about priorities shifting. And you're no longer at the top of the list. Here's the psychology. Every late return is a test. She's seeing how much you'll tolerate, how far she can push before you notice, how silent you'll stay while she rewrites the rules of the relationship. Every time you let it slide, you teach her that your respect is negotiable. The mistake most men make is staying quiet out of fear of looking insecure. But here's the truth. Insecurity isn't asking for respect. Insecurity is pretending you don't notice disrespect. Your move? When she comes home late with another weak excuse, don't interrogate. Don't beg for details. Simply say, "You weren't here. That tells me everything I need to know." Then go silent. That silence forces her to face the truth, without giving her a fight to twist against you. Sign #8. The collapse of her story. Every liar eventually cracks. Stories are fragile things. They can be rehearsed, polished, repeated, but pressure always reveals the truth. She comes home late. Her words tumble out too quickly. Details don't line up. One night, it was a coworker who needed help. The next, it was a last-minute errand. Timelines shift, excuses overlap. And her eyes, they don't meet yours anymore. They flicker, they dart, they drop. That isn't stress. That's deception struggling to stay afloat. Most men wait for undeniable proof. A text, a photo, a confession. But proof rarely comes neatly wrapped. The truth comes in inconsistencies, in the way her story unravels the harder she tries to hold it together. Your job isn't to be a detective. It's to see what's already there. When her story collapses, you don't need to accuse her. You don't need to yell. You simply decide, "I don't believe you, and I don't need to anymore." That's not accusation. That's boundaries. Because at this point, the issue isn't her betrayal. It's whether you'll betray yourself by staying. Final words. The hardest betrayal. The harshest betrayal isn't what she does in secret. It's what you allow yourself to ignore in plain sight. These 8 signs aren't just about catching a cheater. They're about reclaiming your dignity, your boundaries, and your power as a man. Not every sign guarantees betrayal. Sometimes distance comes from stress or poor communication. That's why your job isn't to accuse. It's to test and observe. But if every sign aligns, if your gut knows the truth, the most masculine move you can make is to walk away with your head held high. Because love is never worth trading your self-respect. So here's my challenge. Pick one area where you've been ignoring your instincts. Stop lying to yourself, face it directly, and decide. Will you keep betraying yourself? Or will you finally stand up for the man you were meant to be? Before you go, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this video with a man who needs to wake up before it's too late. Your story might be the lifeline someone else needs to finally see the truth. Because betrayal doesn't just break relationships, it breaks men. And today, you've learned how to stop it from breaking you.